National Signing Day is a lot different now than it used to be. College football is so different than it used to be. It's changed so much that this is kind of one of the traditions that I think is a lot different than it used to be. Obviously, this used to happen in February, and the early December signing period I think makes a lot of sense for a lot of reasons. Probably the biggest one is that I believe 16 of the 22 guys that we have listed here on the signing class are early enrollees. And so, these kids now, they graduate and they go to where they're going and get started, which I think is a great opportunity for the young people to, have a semester of school before football season happens. Obviously, they have off season. Obviously, they have spring football. But I think it's a great opportunity to transition, a lot easier transition than it used to be, where they're, dedicating so much of their time during the week to football. And so I think it makes sense in many different levels. They get an extra semester from a graduation standpoint, get the summer school hours, all the things. And so it used to be so different. You would sign these guys, and then you would sign them in February, and then they reported, basically in August. And now we'll sign them here in December, and most of them will report in January. So it's a great day for our program. Look, this is the culmination of a lot of work. These guys have been on our campus many, many times. We know this group probably as well as any group that we've signed. Just, we've been around them a lot. We've been recruiting a lot of these guys for 2-3 years. So just really, really fired up about the group. It's a big day for them. Obviously, high school kids all across the country. It's a little different than it used to be. We talked as a staff today about, kind of think it would be funny to, maybe do a parody next year where we have like fax machines and, cheer and all this stuff and like used to happen. But today went exactly as we hoped it would. It happens on DocuSign now. And so anyway, great day for TCU, great day for these young people. Really like the class. From a ranking standpoint, we didn't sign. I know some people signed over 40, which helped their teams get ranked more highly than others. But we like the class. We think it's really good. It's the kind of players that have traditionally turned into good players for us, and we're excited for the group. I think there's a lot of length in this group, a lot of speed, a lot of size, a lot of production, all the things that you look for.
One of the things you see in this signing day class, Coach, is everyone's from Texas. How much emphasis did you guys have to make sure you guys got?
Yeah, that's that obviously Texas is going to be our base when it comes to recruiting. Normally there's going to be a player or two from Louisiana, maybe one or two from Oklahoma. It just didn't work that way this year. But yeah, look, I think we all agree that Texas has the best high school football. Texas has the best investment, in high school football players, from a coaching standpoint, from a facility standpoint, from a resources standpoint. Just believe in the Texas high school coaches and the job that they do, developing these players and then teaching them a great culture. So many of these kids come from winning programs. If you look, a number of these guys are still in the playoffs, and almost all of them were on playoff teams. And so, they're successful programs, successful kids, from the state of Texas. And again, that's obviously we want to recruit the state. We want to recruit the DFW Metroplex. We want to recruit Houston. We've got 3 from the Austin area this year that I think are all really good players. East Texas has historically been good. And so, I think it's a great class, excited about it, and can't wait for these guys to get here.
Some of your highest ranked guys on the defensive line, how are you excited about that?
Yeah. Look, that's, I think we all know it. Defensive line is, defense and offensive line are where your programs are built. Particularly the way that you have to do things in today's world. Either you're signing high school players and developing them, or you're, signing players in the transfer portal. And so if the idea is to sign them and develop them, then you have to, that's where it all starts. I mean, you got to sign D linemen, you got to sign offensive linemen, you have to have those guys in your program, you have to develop them, and then you got to be able to retain them once you develop them. And I think that's the big thing, because, that's a premium. It's a premium in pro football, and it's a premium in college football now. There's just not that many big people that can do what defensive and offensive linemen need to be able to do. So, yeah, that's always, we'd like to sign a big group of those guys, particularly high school players, and bring them here and develop them. And we're excited about the young linemen that we've signed in the last 3 recruiting classes on both sides of the ball, offensive and defensive linemen. We think that's going to be the strength of our teams moving forward because of who we signed, and those guys doing a good job of coming in the program and getting bigger and stronger and developing.
Everyone knows your reputation for developing quarterbacks and just being around good quarterbacks. Kind of tell us about what you think about Jack Dalton and how did that?
Yeah. So Jack's an interesting guy. So he's was a little bit under the radar. He was a guy that we saw his film, and we saw his athleticism, saw his size, had some conversations with him, and then we had a chance to go watch him, I believe last January, throw in Houston. He was working out and had a throwing session, and Kendall and I went to the throwing session, and I think he, quite frankly, surprised us both. I mean, just how accurate he was. We knew he could run. We knew he was athletic. I mean, he had good track times. He's a fast guy. It's not hard to see. But, he threw on a really, really cold, rainy day in Houston. I mean, it was freezing cold, and the wind was blowing probably 30 miles an hour. And I watched him throw ball after ball after ball that was, really, thrown on time. I liked his footwork. He had good fundamentals. He had good arm strength, and you mix in the athleticism. And I'm surprised he's not ranked a little higher. I don't really understand why, but I'm not that worried about it.
A receiver, I really like some of the guys who signed Ace from Duncanville, Camille from Arlington. What do you think about those receivers?
Yeah, so we needed to sign. It's an interesting receiver group. There's 2 really big guys in the group. There's a 6'4" guy and a 6'5" guy, basically. So we've got big size, length, and then we've got 2, truly bona fide speed guys. You look at Asen, and he, ran on the Duncanville 39.6, I think, sprint relay team, 39.6, 39.7, whatever it was, that, set the national record or was right there at the national record. And so, he's got tremendous speed. My favorite thing about Asen, though, is when you have guys that have the kind of speed he has, normally those guys have a certain build to them. They're light, they're frail, they have a tendency to get banged up and be hurt. And he's not really built that way. He's more sturdy, he's very durable, and he's a really tough physical football player. Reminds me a lot of Darius Davis, just in terms of that's what makes Darius unique and different, is he's got that elite speed, but he's got that physical toughness and plays bigger than he is. And, Asen to me is that, and not many guys are. He's playing wildcat quarterback and running back and running jet sweeps. I mean, they're doing all the creative things that they can do at Duncanville to get him to football. And he's very productive. And as I said, he's been available. He hasn't been banged up, and love that part of it. I think Camille is an interesting guy. I mean, he's kind of got on the radar late. He's got great speed. He's got length. He's one of those guys that we saw him in the summer, and, we thought, oh, man, this guy's really athletic. He came to our camp, and we worked him out and loved what we saw. We just weren't sure if he was far enough along. And then as the season progressed, he just got so much better and better and better and more productive and flashed the traits that we need to see. And so, I think we got to steal with him. Not too many guys can run like he can. Not too many guys have the production he had down the stretch. And then, like I said, love the 2 big guys that we were able to get. I thought, Cooper joining the class late, I thought was very important. I think he's got great length and He's competitive. Dripping Springs has not had a great program, and I think a big part, in terms of getting this deep into the playoffs. I mean, they've been solid, but and Cooper's a big part of that. He's kind of played through some injuries this year. He's tough. He's very productive. He's got length. He knows how to run routes. You turn the tape on. I mean, he's very savvy. And then James is such a big body. There's just a huge potential and upside there. He's got a chance to, to be a 6'5", 220-pound guy that can run around and he's got great catch radius. Same thing came to camp. We were very impressed with him and so I love the group. Like I said, four guys that I'm fired up about.
One of the more physically impressive kids in this class is Jason Bradford.
Yeah.
Four-star out of Temple. What did you like about him? Is he a guy that you can foresee coming in, playing right, maybe getting an early chance at playing time?
Yeah, Jason's really interesting. He's just got a huge frame. He's this big, long, athletic guy. And again, you look at the length. That's we're trying to get longer and trying to get bigger. I think that we've got to. I think we've got to continue to do that as a program, and I think we took a step in the right direction. You look at the length of the D linemen that we've got. You look at the girth of the offensive linemen. We got bigger guys. We needed that. But Jason fits that mold. I mean, he's long, he's athletic. I don't know how big he's going to get, but I could see him playing a ton of different positions just based on his athleticism and his length. And again, really productive football player. I think he's got a lot of upside. I think he's raw, but I'm excited about him. Yeah, it was big. I mean, he was a guy that we targeted early. We kind of were disappointed when we didn't get him the first go around, and then kind of hung in there with him. And he's our kind of guy. He's just a good, smart football player. Has been very productive. He's a little bit banged up this year. Missed some time, but he love what he can do. I mean, he can run. He's a good communicator. Makes calls on the back end. I think he's the kind of guy. He's been coached well. I think he's the kind of guy that's got a chance to come in and compete and try to get on the field potentially early, just based on his athleticism and his his understanding of football. So we'll see. But I like him. I think it was a big deal. Tough to play safety in today's college football world. It's a tough position. You got to be physical enough to support the run. You got to be athletic enough to be able to cover slot receivers. You got to be a really good communicator, and we thought he could do all those things.
Coach, I remember your first signing day here. You came in, you had a late night with a couple of recruits.
Yeah, we did. Yeah.
It didn't seem like there was that much stress in this class. Was there not much stress? I mean,
no. I mean, you never know. I mean, especially in today's college football world. But no, I think. The first class, I think, was that way because we obviously recruited those guys, but we hadn't been recruiting them for years like we have this guy, this class. Most of the guys on here, not all of them, but, I mean, this has been a 2-year plus relationship, and I think that the relationship was strong enough with these guys. I think that, we trusted them and they trusted us. And so, I went to bed last night at a decent hour and put my head on the pillow and didn't really worry about these guys, and got out this morning and we had a bunch of guys that people tried to come in late. As we saw, there was a lot of flipping going on here at the end, and that creates opportunities for guys to go and try to come after your players. And there was a number of guys on here that people were trying to flip until late. But I think the relationship was strong, and I think the belief in them and their belief in us superseded that and allowed us to sign a good group.
So kind of pivoting to that, on a big picture standpoint, are you concerned at all when you see some of these teams that are like publicly committing an extra 10, 15?
Yes. Yeah, I don't really understand it. Can you explain it to me? Yeah, I did too. It's not. I mean, it's not. So I don't really understand it. I'm not sure how it's possible. We're trying to kind of figure it out and get to the bottom of it. But what's interesting is as you said, these institutions are publicly coming out and saying it. And so I don't understand how that's going to work. You know what I mean? My understanding was there was an amount that you could pay rev share, and that was it. And then NIL deals had to be approved by an organization, and they had to be true value and all the things. And it seems like that it's gone the opposite of this. It makes you wonder if institutions, are going to pay $20 million, $22 million, whatever it is now, to for rev share for the university, and then turn around and subsidize football an additional 15, 20, 25. I've heard as much as 40 million. That's a pretty significant financial commitment from a university. And I don't know how it's happening. I don't really understand it. It's something we're going to have to learn as much as we can and see what's going on. But it is, I'm not sure how these institutions can afford to do that.
With this being a dead month and the portal not opening until January, is it kind of just nice to relax and just focus on football this month?
It is, yeah, it is. It's been really good this week. I think we've all had a chance to catch our breath to an extent. It's been good opportunity for us to get around our players and talk to those guys and start having conversations with players and kind of let them know, how we see, their future moving forward and how they see it moving forward. And so, we've tried to kind of take a little bit of a break this week. We'll try to, our players have lifted a couple of times. I think next week is when we'll have an idea on Sunday on the bowl game. My guess is middle to end of the week next week we'll start practicing for the bowl game. We've got a couple of different schedules based on different bowl scenarios. But yeah, I mean, it's a good opportunity to focus on your players, and just having a chance to be around them and spend some time with them, and for them to get some clarity and for us to get some clarity as we move into the transfer portal and bowl game and all the things. So yeah, it's a busy time of year, but it's good. I think we've had a chance to catch our breath. We'll actually have a day off on Friday, which will be first one we've had off since I think the middle of July. So so it'll be a welcome opportunity to get home and see their family and be around a little bit. Okay, thank you guys.